rise to the pledge.
And in the office.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilmember Irby? Here. Councilmember Page?
Here.
Councilmember Wassinger? Here. Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Dolan?
Here.
Councilmember TRAKAS?
Present.
Councilmember Harder?
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
I move for approval of the journal of meeting of February 6, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Journal's approved. We have no bid openings, so we'll move to communications.
Mr. Chair, there are no tax compromises or zoning matters this evening, so we'll move to road and bridge matters. Under road and bridge matters, item number 1, all districts.
Receive and file, same motion for item number 2, and that will be the order.
Is that for item number 1 under other communications, Mr. Chair?
Yes. Thank you.
Item number 2, under other communications.
Other communications, item number 2. Receive and file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. And that will be the order. Same motion for item number 3, and that will be the order.
Item number 4.
Item number 4 will drop from the agenda, and that will be the order.
Item number 5, 6th District.
Receive, file, and refer to the Department of Transportation and Public Works, the Department of Planning, and the County Councilor, please.
So ordered.
Item number 6, 5th District.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 7, all districts.
Receive and file, and that will be the order.
Item number 8, 6th District.
Receive and file, same motion for number 9, Mr. Chairman.
So ordered.
Item number 10, 7th District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 11.
Receive and file, same motion for item number 12, and that will be the order.
Item number 13.
Receive and file, same motion for item number 14, and that will be the order. Both of these items will be referred to the county auditor.
Did you want that to be part of the order?
Order, yes.
Okay, we'll just note that.
And then please read the add-ons.
Item number 1.
Receive and file, and that will be the order. Report of the county executive.
Nothing further this evening, Mr. Chair.
Report of special committees.
Hold on the order of business.
So ordered. Public forum.
We have 7 speakers this evening, Mr. Chair, and I've unfortunately forgot to bring the timer.
Okay,
So I will just let people know when they're...
We'll keep people posted. Please approach the podium when we call your name. Give us your name and address for the record. And please try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. First speaker.
First speaker this evening is Lynn LeBob.
Where's that?
Oh, okay.
A little short. Oh, hi. Glasses too. Dear council members, I'm a resident of District 6. I'm speaking tonight in regards to not so good government, metro, marijuana, and mismanaged funds. With the complete lack of transparency by the county executive, would you like us to believe that the no corruption and collusion with John Rello, Corey Christinol, Mark Habus, Rex from the city, Sinkfield, Sheila Sweeney of Port Authority, Steve Tilley, Travis Brown, Jonathan Franks, Jane Duker, and countless others? Mr. County Councilman, you prefer Steve, you prefer that it's the puppets that you control. and manipulate, and then when you don't get your way, to throw a temper tantrum when trying to get or threaten and blame and accuse. So let me ask you, are you puppets and are you of honest integrity on the county council? Because one day judgment is coming, and I would make sure that you have the answer to that before you stand to God. In regards to this marijuana deal, I have a problem with the secrecy. Of course, behind your initiative, there's always secrets. Secrets, Steve. There are connections to one powerful politician, I guess they're talking about you, and their apparent plans to profit if the initial ever becomes law. Two of the top officers within the Missourians for Patient Care. So the secret money that all these people are sharing, and you stand to gain if it becomes law. So those are your connections and the future profits at the expense of our community. I was also involved years ago with fighting the casino in the River City area, but because there was such collusion with the St. Louis Economic Council and Port Authority at that time, the River City agenda, where certain people made money off the community, and it's nothing more than greed, while they're leaving children in their car with pot smoking, alcohol, and everything else. The problem is I understand the medicinal purposes for cancer. I get it. I work at a hospital. I had a brother who died of cancer. I get it. But you know, driving through the war zone every day, do we not have enough with cell phones, alcohol, drug addiction, overdose, and let's just throw pot into the mix while you stand to make a lot of money off your greed? I have a problem with that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lynn. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Dina Hope.
Good evening. My name is Dina Hope. I reside in North County area. Good evening, County Councilman. My name is Dina Hope. I am an office supervisor in the bonding department of the Justice Services. I have worked for St. Louis County for 25 years. I am currently one of the office supervisors that supervise 8 bonding clerks. Since the bonding department has been short-staffed for over a year or more, we have changed our days off to avoid paying out overtime and shutting down the bonding department. The bonding department staff is classified as essential staff to the operation of the jail. It is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including the holidays. The bonding department staff work inside the secure perimeters. We're required to have the same training as the CO officers. In addition to that, we're required to have Regis and Muse certification. As part of public safety, 1, our required job is to take county bonds, outside counties, and municipal court plea orders to the inmates to sign. And this is done in order to process and release inmates. Therefore, we have lots of contact with the inmates. We're the backup support for the St. Louis County Adult Abuse Department. We've processed ex parte orders when that department is closed. I'm here to speak about the Proposition P funds. There are currently 350 employees in the Justice Services. 295 of those employees have received at least 16% raise, while 55 employees have only received 3% additional to our pay. I would also like to point out that the raise for the 295 employees were permanent, and their hourly pay and job classifications changed to reflect the raises. The 55 employees are receiving a 3% additional to pay on our checks, and our hourly pay has not changed. This means our 3% additional pay is not permanent, and it may go at any time. We, the 55 employees, do not understand why the 295 employees' raises are permanent and not ours. The employees received the 16% raise, were given 2% for each 5 years of their service. We, the 55 employees, didn't understand why their services counted and ours did not.
That's 3 minutes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Everyone's years of service matters. We are asking that you please fix the disparity in the raising from Proposition P. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dina.
Next speaker is Terry Pellick.
Good evening. I'm Terry Pellick. I live at 7924 East Yorkshire. Of course, that's next to the beautiful and hopefully ever-ending Tower T.
Mr. Chair, can we ask the speaker to pull the microphone a little
I
closer?
thought my mouth was big enough.
We want to make sure we get your comments.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Tower T, we're still batting to keep that going. There is activity going on. I was requested by a young lady of 84 years old to say she doesn't want to see dust and dirt and big old buildings. So that's on her behalf. Her name is Trudy. She lives on New Hampshire, which backs up to there. And ironically, I was in Florida the last week, and a gentleman down there who lives in Florida mentioned to me he had heard about Tower T, and he also had heard about La Mire Sculpture Park. And he is batting for us up here, and this is more bigger than Afton and the county, that I'm hearing it from other parts of the country. So we are wanting us to keep Tower T. Please bat for us. Thank you, and that's all.
Thanks, Terry.
Next speaker is Kira Braxton.
Good evening. My name is Kira Braxton. I reside at 19 Conley Drive, St. Louis, Missouri. I would like to first thank all of you council members for supporting the 55 Justice Services employees concerning the unfair and unethical way that the Prop P funds were distributed by the administration in our department. We're grateful for the bill that a few weeks ago Mr. Stinger asked Ms. Irby to write so that those raises can happen for all of us that were left out, including Department of Health Corrections nurses. The 55 of us range from 5 to 35 plus years of service, which has not been honored as it was for the other 290-something employees that received 16 to 22% raise increases. We received a 3% temporary pay, which for me was 66 cents an hour, compared to those that received permanent increases starting from $2.50 an hour and some higher than $4.84 an hour. The intermittent retired employees even received $3.73 increases per hour permanent pay, giving them the increases based on the years of service that they had when they were employed full-time. The atmosphere in our department is so disgruntled. The acting director, after a meeting last week concerning Prop P funds, came back and stated quite loudly that she's sick of this Prop P mess. That is interesting, being that she is a recipient of the 16% permanent increase and pay that she received from Prop P funds. We are sure she is not sick of collecting that increase. This attitude and behavior concerning something that hits us very dear is repulsive. All we want is to be treated equally and fairly. We are not just case managers, which seems to be the most discussed of the 55. We are lobby clerks, bonding clerks, office service reps, personnel specialists, corrections information specialists, fiscal managers, accountant threes, accountant managers, mailroom clerks, property room clerks, bonding clerks, all of which interact with all things concerning inmates on a daily basis. Please do not allow this administration to pick the 55 of us apart by only reclassifying half of us. Reclassify all of us and give us all what we are worthy of, the same as our administration received, 10 to 16% based on years of service. Permanent raises on our hard and faithful years of services. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Next speaker is Helena Service.
My name is Helena Service. My husband and I live at 2224 Cleek Court, 63131. I apologize for my voice. I am recovering from laryngitis. I'm speaking as a longtime resident and taxpayer of St. Louis County. I first presented to the County Council in 2010 regarding hiring practices at St. Louis County, then again in 2014 regarding the lack of exercise for the county dogs. I take no pleasure in sharing my concerns with you this evening, but I feel compelled to do so. I'm speaking for the county animals and their caregivers. The recent exodus of 14 employees at the St. Louis County Animal Control Facility has created a situational crisis due to an acute shortage of caregivers and proper maintenance and sanitation of the facility. Rumor had it that many of the employees who resigned were considered slackers and would not be missed. I find this difficult to believe, as I do not think the county would keep 14 individuals on the payroll without benefit. At a gathering on January 18 of this year, I had an opportunity to mingle with some of the county employees. On that day, the County Advisory Board sponsored a staff appreciation party. It was a good opportunity to spend a few minutes with staff in a socially relaxed setting. We served refreshments and enjoyed conversation. I made it a point to arrive early so I could speak with as many staff members as possible. I spoke with 5 individuals. After the usual exchange of pleasantries, I inquired about what each of them thought the new year would hold for them and the county animals. The general consensus was that the working environment at County Animal Control was stressful, primarily because the employees feel stifled. They feel as if they are treated like children. Here are some of the comments verbatim. I have no voice. Walking here feels like prison. I feel intimidated. I would quit, but I have family to support, and I love animals. I wish the animals were treated better. I wish that new animals were allowed to decompress before they are placed for adoption. I wish people focus more on how much I care for the animals and pay less attention to the color of my skin. I wish adopters would be better scrutinized. I came away feeling sad and almost as discouraged as the staff. In any power struggle, the faction without a voice tends to lose by design. The animals will be the ultimate losers. I am asking the members of the County Council to familiarize themselves with the cause of the disconnect at County Animal Control.
That's 3 minutes, Mr. Chair.
If the staff feels a disconnect, the animals feel it even more deeply. Both will suffer. Your help is needed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Leanne Fritzel.
Leanne Fritsch, 730 Leland, University City. 3rd week in a row, I'm speaking here as a taxpayer and your constituent, Councilman Dolan. The last 2 weeks, I mentioned my concern that 13 staff have left since the new animal control director started in September. Today, I found out another staff member gave notice. It's understandable that when someone new takes charge, there's going to be some turnover and some staff might leave because they don't like change. But 13, now 14 staff leaving in less than 6 months is excessive. This is not normal. These were not just lazy staff that didn't want to work, which is the excuse provided by Glenn Powers from the county executive's office and some members of the advisory board. All of these staff quit. None were fired. Many of these staff were there a long time, including one of the 2 ACOs that had gone through dart gun training at considerable cost. Last week, I suggested word had gotten out that St. Louis County Animal Control was not a racially sensitive environment. Racist remarks made by the director to staff have been reported and documented. The county executive's office was made aware of such and doesn't seem concerned. There are still no vets on staff. Animal control officers spend time shuttling animals to and from the contract vet rather than their regular duties. There is currently a job posting for a veterinarian, but this vet would answer to the lead vet. Why are they advertising for someone to answer to a lead vet when we don't have a lead vet and haven't for months? Licensed vets are not going to jeopardize their reputation and license working for someone who has never been licensed in any state as a veterinarian or even as a vet tech, and for someone who has been issued cease and desist letters by another state vet board. This could be one explanation why no vets want to work for St. Louis County Animal Control. The exodus of staff and inability or unwillingness to find staff veterinarians present very serious questions. There needs to be a thorough investigation and independent audit by a shelter expert. The animals and taxpayers deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Final speaker this evening is Jennifer Byrd.
My name is Jennifer Byrd. I live at 9244 Laurel Hill Drive in Crestwood. I did not want to miss the very first, more reasonably timed meeting. So 6:30, and as luck would have it, I worked late as I often do, and even questioned whether I would get here at 6:30. So I'm grateful. Thank you for being so nice. I had warm words of welcome when I came in. So I do mean sincerely thank you for making this a later time. I think it really sends a message to everyone that there is at least an interest on the part of the council to hear people's complaints. And I know that you probably are flooded with calls at one time or another, emails, et cetera. Very difficult to get back one at a time. This is an opportunity for all of us to come speak at a reasonable time, or a more reasonable time. And tonight I actually get to go to another meeting after this at 7:30. So I do want to say thank you. I am saying thank you. I think you all know that I have been adamantly opposed to a city-county merger. This is not new news. I've been fighting this for going on 7 years. Mr. Stenger, I'm still very eager to hear from you. You've told me twice to my face that you would sit down and meet with a very small group that is in opposition, and we have been working. We've been researching, studying, and trying to understand this process, and at least, if it's going to be shoved on us, do something to have some pushback and some recourse. But I think that we deserve to have your ear, and I think it would do a very good service to you, particularly when your opponent is so pro-merger. So I think Chris Howard is a confidant of mine. I'm very friendly with Mark Harder. You all probably all know how to get in touch with me. I'd be very, very interested in sitting down with you. I'll provide you with a list of names. If you're concerned about privacy, I'll leave my phone with your secretary. She can peruse my contact list or whatever, or he, sorry, I don't want to sound like a sexist. Again, I would be very eager to sit down with you. I think it would be very good for you, and it would certainly show a step in confidence for us that you're at least interested. Thanks again for the late start. Have a great night. Thanks.
Thanks, Jennifer.
No more speakers, Mr. Chair.
This concludes our public forum. Introduction of bills.
Bill number 18, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $100,000 from the City of St. Louis Department of Health appropriating the same for support of the HIV prevention services risk reduction activities project, and authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents, including a subcontract with E. Rice Williams and Associates Incorporated. Bill number 19, introduced by Councilmember Wassinger, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a cooperative agreement with Missouri American Water Company for use of ground space at the St. Louis Community College at Wildwood Radio Site, currently leased by St. Louis County. Bill number 20, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a donation of up to $1,100 from the Islamic Community Center for purchase of blankets for homeless and needy persons, appropriating the donation for support of said purchase. Bill number 21, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance approving acceptance of donation of $1,175 from Youth in Need and appropriating same for support of the summer culinary program for youth involved with the family court. Bill number 22, introduced by Councilmember Harder, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company Incorporated for engineering services in connection with renovation of the former Emergency Operations Center, St. Louis County Public Works, number 17-29-OC. Bill number 23, introduced by Councilmember Dolan, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with EFK Moen LLC for consulting engineering services in connection with replacement of Greenwood Boulevard Bridge number 424 and Railroad Street/Pacific Avenue Bridge number 428 AR-1670. Bill number 24, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with ISS Facility Service Incorporated for janitorial services for 10 county police department facilities. Bill number 25, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Abbott Ambulance Incorporated, DBA Abbott EMS 000, for medical and emergency transport services. Bill number 26, introduced by Councilmember TRAKAS, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Bolte Company Incorporated for replacement of flooring of the multi-activity center at the pavilion at Lemay. Bill number 27, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept donations for use by the Department of Parks and Recreation for acquisition of fireworks, advertisement promotion, and other expenses related to the 2018 JB Blast event, appropriating the donations for support of said event. Bill number 28, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance amending ordinance number 26,402 by repealing and reenacting Section 2 pertaining to a grant from the Office of National Drug Control Policy. Bill number 29, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance approving acceptance of donation of $2,000 from the Missouri Police Chiefs Association, appropriating the same for support of the DARE unit. Bill number 30, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance amending Title VI, Chapter 600, St. Louis County Revised Ordinances 1974 as amended Department of Public Health by adding and enacting a new section pertaining to authority of the Director of Public Health to execute business associate agreements. Bill number 31, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 109, St. Louis County Revised Ordinances 1974 as amended Department of Information Technology by adding and enacting a new section pertaining to agreements with providers of DAS technology. Bill number 32, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance to provide for the borrowing of money in anticipation of the collection of taxes and revenues for the County General Fund for the year 2018. Bill number 33, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance to provide for the borrowing of money in anticipation of the collection of taxes and revenues for the Department of Public Health Fund for the year 2018. Bill number 34, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance to provide for the borrowing of money in anticipation of the collection of taxes and revenues for the Park Maintenance Fund for the year 2018. Bill number 35, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance to provide for the borrowing of money in anticipation of the collection of taxes and revenues for the Special Road and Bridge Fund for the year 2018. Mr. Chair, that is all the bills.
Thank you. Perfection.
Bill number 305, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
Just a second. Hold on Bill 305 for now.
Bill 305 is held.
Bill number 307, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I'm going to hold this, but I also want to remind the council that they've received a copy of the engineering report about this bridge, and that I encourage the council to read that and understand it, because it's falling on very bad times, and I hope that if you have any questions, please let me know. Please hold Bill 307.
Bill 307 will be held.
Bill number 350, introduced by Councilmember Erby.
I'd like to hold on the order of business and request a hearing, but I thought of a hearing next week, but I would like to put this off a week so that we could have a hearing regarding the animal shelter.
Yeah.
If that would be okay.
We'll we'll hold Bill 350 on the agenda, and we'll look for hearing dates for both of your questions.
And also you said we were gonna revisit the budget. I hope we can do that.
We will.
I
Thanks.
have a lot of things.
We have a lot of things to talk about.
Mr. Chair, on Bill number 350, is it being referred to a specific committee at this point?
I'll talk to the bill sponsor, and we'll determine that's probably a committee of the whole, but we'll talk about it.
Thank you. Bill number 2, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Please hold on the other business. Bill number 2 is held.
Bill number 12, introduced by Councilmember Page.
This is another topic that although it's a white hat topic, we want to have a hearing about it. So I'll move to hold Bill number 12, and Bill number 12 will be held.
Bill number 17, introduced by Councilmember TRAKAS.
I'll move to perfect Bill number 17.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 17 is perfected. Final passage.
Bill number 353, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move to hold Bill number 353. 353 will be held.
Bill number 9, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move for final passage of Bill number 9.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray. Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye, sorry.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on Bill number 9, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 9 is finally passed.
Bill number 11, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move for final passage of Bill number 11.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray. I'm sorry. Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on Bill number 11, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 11 is finally passed.
Bill number 16, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move for final passage of Bill number 16.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray. Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on Bill number 16, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 16 is finally passed.
Moving on to resolutions, Mr. Chair. We have 5 this evening. Excuse me. Resolutions number 1 through 3, introduced by Councilmember Dolan.
These are honorary resolutions for the Clayton Chamber of Commerce, so I move for adoptions of our resolutions 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray. Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on resolutions number 1 through 3, there are 7 ayes.
Council members 1, 2, and 3 are adopted. Resolutions 1, 2, and 3 are adopted.
Resolution number 4, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Yes, this is a resolution honoring Mary Welsh on her 100th birthday. So I move for adoption of resolution number 4.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray. Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on resolution number 4, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Resolution number 4 is adopted.
Resolution number 5, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
Please read paragraph 1.
Yes, sir. Whereas the Lower Merrimack Multi-Jurisdictional Floodplain Planning Committee is a collaboration between the United States Army Corps of Engineers and several local governmental jurisdictions located in the floodplain of the Lower Merrimack River that are subject to flooding and would benefit from a well-planned floodplain management plan.
That's fine. I just want to let everybody know that this is a resolution to support any activity by the Corps of Engineers in their summation and engineering of that lower floodplain down in Eureka. and that we'll participate to the extent that we need to in this study so that they can understand the flood conditions down there for the future. So this is a resolution to help participate in that planning process. So I would appreciate everyone's support on this. So I'll move to accept or to approve Resolution 5.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby? Aye. Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
Aye.
To turn resolution number 5, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Resolution number 5 is adopted.
Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Chair, item number 1.
Hold on the order of business, the motion through item number 3, and that will be the order.
Item number 4, third district.
Hold on the order of business, please.
So ordered.
And moving on to new business, Mr. Chair, we have 1 prepared order this evening.
I move for adoption of order number 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Order number 1 is adopted. Any comments from any council members before we adjourn?
I just want to mention that our first ever Ethics Committee meeting, I think, went very well today, and I appreciate Councilman Trakas's work in setting it up, and I look forward to future meetings in the near future.
Just one other comment, that when we set those, the hearings up, that we'll let the interested parties know when it is so that you can attend.
So you're talking about the animal shelter?
Animal shelter as well as the, other employees, the raises.
raises.
So we're gonna go visit the budget or something.
Yeah, we need to do that. We'll talk to Budget Chair about that.
Mr. Chair, if you may,
Yes.
since Mr. Harder brought it up, I do want to thank Dan Driesward and his personnel for appearing voluntarily today and providing us with significant documentation and subjecting themselves to probably about an hour and 45 minutes of questioning and answering with great candor. So it was a great day for transparency and the opportunity for the elected representatives to look into a matter.
Thank you. Councilman Harder.
I just want to coordinate with you, Mr. Chair, over a committee for economic development to meet next Tuesday concerning the Mills property.
Okay, we'll plan all those out, so let's get together tomorrow with our schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.